This video provides an introduction to variation. We're going to discuss two types of variation, direct variation and inverse variation. When one quantity is a constant multiple of another quantity, we say that the quantities are directly proportional to one another. If we let x and y represent two quantities, the following statements are equivalent. Y varies directly with x, y is directly proportional to x, and y equals k times x, where k is a non-zero constant. To simplify this, there's basically two different ways that we can state that there is direct variation happening. Varies directly and directly proportional. Anytime you hear either of those two statements, it means that you are going to be multiplying k by something. And we get this equation y equals k times x. You'll notice that the y, which is the standalone variable on the left, comes before the word varies directly or directly proportional in the sentence. Then we're going to be equal to k. K is our constant of variation, and it's always present in a variation problem. And then we're multiplying k by x, which you'll notice is what comes after varies directly or directly proportional. So what I think of when I hear direct variation is I'm going to be multiplying k by something. It is possible with direct variation that there may be powers involved. It doesn't change anything that we just discussed. It just might be that the second variable has an exponent on it. So, y varies directly with x squared. So we would have y equals k times x squared instead. So let's write an equation that describes this direct variation. First, we have s varies directly with t. The first variable in the sentence is the standalone variable on the left side of the equation. Because I see it say varies directly, that tells me that I'm going to be multiplying k by something. And k is always there. We're going to be multiplying it by something. What are we multiplying it by? Well, the variable that comes after varies directly. And in this example is t. S varies directly with t gives us the equation s equals k times t. Next, we have a varies directly with x squared. That's going to give us a equals k times x squared. Now, of course, you don't have to include that multiplication dot. I'm just trying to emphasize that direct variation means that we'll be multiplying k by something. Next, we have inverse variation. With inverse variation, we're going to be dividing k by something. So if we let x and y represent two quantities, the following statements are equivalent. Y varies inversely with x, y is inversely proportional to x, and the equation y equals k divided by x, where k is a non-zero constant. Just like with direct variation, whatever variable comes before varies inversely or inversely proportional is the variable all by itself on the left side of the equation. Inversely tells me that I'm going to be dividing k by something. What am I going to be dividing k by? Well, whatever variable comes after varies inversely or inversely proportional. And just like direct variation, it's possible to have exponents on the variable following varies inversely or inversely proportional. Let's write an equation that describes each variation. L varies inversely with M. So we're going to start with L equals, because that's the variable that comes before varies inversely. K is always there. Inversely tells me that I'm going to be dividing k by something, and what we're going to be dividing k by is the variable that comes after varies inversely, which is m. So L varies inversely with m is written L equals k divided by m. Next, we have P varies inversely with R squared. So P equals K divided by R squared. And we do have two other kinds of variations that are just extensions of direct and inverse variation. When one quantity is proportional to the product of two or more other quantities, the variation is called joint variation. So with joint variation, you're just multiplying by K by multiple variables. And then when direct variation and inverse variation occur at the same time, the variation is called combined variation. So here we're going to be multiplying K by one thing and dividing it by another thing. So let's write the equation that describes each variation. V varies directly with T and inversely with P. So this is going to be a combined variation because it says varies directly and varies inversely. There is only one K that's going to show up though. V equals, that's how we're going to start because that's the variable that came before our varies directly and inversely. We're going to have 1K. V varies directly with T, so that means I'm going to multiply K by T, and inversely with P, so I'm going to divide by P. V varies directly with T and inversely with P gives us the equation V equals K times T divided by P. Next we have S varies jointly with T and D. Joint variation means that we're multiplying K by multiple variables. So this is going to give us S equals K times T and D. S equals K times T times D.